Welcome to Women Are Rising with your host, Katie Kozlowski. This is the podcast where we come together and we bust the myths. We turn things upside down and we get to the heart of the matter. Women Are Rising is dedicated to bringing truths to the forefront and liberating souls from the inside out. Without further ado, here's Katie K and Women Are Rising. Hey guys, it's Katie, and welcome to another episode of Women Are Rising. Today, I promised I would tell you the story of War and Peace, and I am recording this right about the time of the eclipse, and this is the solar eclipse, and we've been talking about this eclipse for quite some time, and one of the things we know is that this eclipse is landing, and by the time you hear this, the eclipse will have happened, but it doesn't matter because what I'm about to tell you does matter, and that's the important piece, so keep listening. We know that this particular solar eclipse is happening in Leo. I happen to have a Leo rising, and one of the things about that is that, you know, they are saying if it lands in that position, it has to do with what happened 19 years ago, and this theme of what happened 19 years ago is returning. And so 19 years ago, I thought about it, and I was 18 years old, so do the math now, you know how old I am. I was 18 years old and I was going off to college. And I was going off to college to be a actress, to be a musical theater star, right? A Broadway star, because that's what I wanted to be. That was my dream. I was very talented. I was very confident. I was so excited. And I was really looking forward to getting in that space. And while I was very confident, I was always also very easily affected by others. And one of the things I really wanted was to be liked. And, you know, here I was, 18 years old. I had long blonde hair, like down to my butt. I was really, you know, quite attractive. And I had this great figure. And I was also an incredible singer, you know, like this amazing, amazing, talented voice. You know, I was a good actress, a better singer than actress, but that's okay. Not a very good dancer, but that's all right. But I showed up at college and I was like, I am here and I am ready. And I remember it was time to audition for freshman year. And one of the things was, you know, they said, well, freshmen don't get cast. Like, don't get your hopes up because freshmen do not get cast. It doesn't happen. It's very rare, right? And so, you know, I went in fully confident. They were doing, they were doing Little Shop of Horrors, and they were doing, I believe, the Scottish play, and they were doing Lysistrata, right? And I didn't really know Lysistrata. I wasn't really an expert in Greek tragedy and Greek comedy, other than having, you know, read it, right, when I was younger. And then there was the musical, right? Which I was confident. I thought, well, you know, I know I'm a freshman, but like maybe. And then there was Lysistrata. And so I auditioned, you know, and I got cast. And I remember being like, wow, I'm a freshman and I got cast. I must be really good. Like, I must be really talented. I'm so proud of myself. Like, I was so proud of myself. And I didn't just get cast as an understudy. Like, I was in the production. I was a freshman. And you know, everyone kept saying that's so rare. And I was really proud of myself. And then, you know, shortly after that, I started getting bullied by the older girls, you know, by the seniors and by, you know, some of the underclassmen who I guess maybe they were threatened by me. They definitely were judging me, and they were unkind in many ways. And I was like really upset by it. I was heartbroken. I was devastated. I remember showing up at a party, and you know, I had a big brother, right? And his girlfriend had to like pick me up off the floor because I was saying nobody likes me, everybody hates me. You know, like they said I'm this, I'm that. They said I only got the part because of the way I look and blah blah blah. And I believed it, number one. And number two, I was devastated. I was heartbroken because here I was, I really, really meant well. And it just felt like people were, you know, coming for me. And what ended up happening was, I was cast as peace. So here's the story of war and peace, right? And where all this came from. Women are rising, war. Why I feel so comfortable with using the word war and peace, and knowing that by talking about war and women are rising, it's a positive. And so I was cast as peace, right? And so, peace, if you know the play Lysistrata, peace is the one who comes out at the end, the beautiful, gorgeous handmaiden who ends the war. Lysistrata has all the men there, and she's ready to end the war. And so she says, bring in peace. And peace is this gorgeous, stunning handmaiden. And the men are so distracted and overwhelmed by peace and her body and her presence that the war ends because of the fact that they're distracted and they just, they surrender, right? And all of a sudden, peace happens. And I was really upset because the girls that were being sort of nasty to me told me I was going to have to be naked. Because in the story, she's naked. And I was traumatized and terrorized and so upset because I didn't want to be peace and I didn't want to be naked. But I was new. I was a freshman. I didn't want anyone to, think that I wasn't committed to my craft or whatever. So I was prepared to do it, but it broke my heart. And eventually it ended up being just lingerie. And, what I looked like was some sort of Victoria's Secret / S&M kind of beautiful lady. And I had curly hair and I had and my hair was up and I had a diamond choker and I had gloves and I had these stripper heels and thigh highs and a teddy. And, I looked fantastic, but it still really upset me that I was peace and I didn't understand, why I had to be that part. And I didn't understand any of it. And all it did was make me feel bad about myself because I didn't want to be peace. I didn't want to be peace because I thought that was degrading, and yet in retrospect, I think about it and I go, wow, there's so much power and beauty in being a woman, right? Peace, even though she was beautiful and she was naked in the original story, that didn't mean that she was trashy or worthless or, horrible or dirty or any of those things. But because of the way I had grown up and because of the experiences I'd had, there was one thing I didn't like, and that was penises and sex, because I'd had a lot of guys try that with me and it scared me because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be treated like that. And I was too afraid to say no. And I didn't understand, you don't just let guys touch you, or you don't just let people do what they want to you because that's the role you play when you're the beautiful woman. And so, it really bothered me to have my character be basically having to face 12 ginormous phalluses. I mean, that was my biggest nightmare coming true. And, for a long time, I didn't think that much of it, but I knew it had bothered me and it was a theme that followed me throughout life. But, I didn't realize how important that story was. And when I started thinking about wanting to create something for women to share their stories and heal, I realized that, wow, that story in itself, that character, that role model of peace, she's so powerful. She's so powerful and amazing that she has the power to do that. And yet we think she's evil. We think she's worthless, or at least I felt that way. I felt ashamed. When I should have been wow, how amazing that, that could happen. Peace, right? And war, that beauty, right? The feminine could actually possibly bring peace. And to not have it be because the men wanted to just, bang her, but because there was something more to it. And when I started thinking about this return of 19 years ago, I was like, wow, that was a massive, massive thing in my life. And it really changed the direction of my life because I started to believe it and I started to think that that was the only thing I had to offer. And that really, honestly, I listened to those girls that people didn't like me and that I had nothing to offer but my body and that, that was how I was going to get cast and that was my worth and all of these things. And it really messed with me. And, I forgot how powerful peace is. I forgot how beautiful peace is and the value in being a woman and the value of being present and the fact that peace was able to end the war. So when I started thinking about that, I started thinking about, wow, this is actually like a super profound title and a really profound moment in history, because if we can, each one of us, begin to see the value in who we are, and we can begin to, love ourselves for who we are and accept beauty and accept, our stories, right? We can bring peace. And I want peace. I love peace. I want to see peace in this lifetime, if I can, I at least want to see peace with myself. And if I have peace with myself, then, it spreads outward. So that's part of why it's women are rising and it's war. Because if we don't learn how to love ourselves, we will always be at war with ourselves. And if we're at war with ourselves, it's very easy to be at war with other people. And I see that a lot and I feel it a lot. And I feel it even within myself, right? I'm constantly fighting this battle of like war and peace. Which is it? Am I fighting or am I at peace? Do I love myself or do I hate myself? And this is a very honest sharing and account of war and peace. Why do we call it Women Are Rising and War Stories? And why do I feel so comfortable talking about war? Because I understand and I know the power of self-value and self-love and how it can bring you back to peace, how it can bring you back to, back to balance, back home. The first episode I talked about the journey, the Odyssey, right? How the story of that, right? Odysseus goes off to war. He's fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. He finally comes home and is at peace. Like, isn't that what we each want? Do we want to fight ourselves and others the rest of our life? Or do we want to fully, wholly accept ourselves and love ourselves and find peace and find home? They're universal. They're universal stories and truths. I talk about these and I'll talk about them over and over again. Dorothy just wants to go home. Alice in Wonderland, she just wants to go home. Like, we just want to go home. And when we say that, what we mean is we want to go home within ourselves. We want to find peace. And for me, what that meant was finding peace within that story. Peace of, I didn't do anything wrong when I got to play peace. It wasn't just about my body and, the fact that that was all I had to offer. But you know what? I am beautiful. And maybe I am, that person. Maybe that's true. Right? Maybe it is true that beauty is powerful. Maybe it is true that beauty is so magical and almost alluring that it gets people's attention, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's part of my story. And the thing that I battled the most, it sounds so dumb to some people, but I know there are people out there that can understand this. There will always be things in your life that you're at war with, that you're fighting, that you just keep pushing it away. And for me, it was beauty. It was beauty itself, right? It was femininity. It was that allure, the fact that I might be attractive. I didn't want to face that or own that because in my experience, that brought me pain. And as a result, I was at war with myself. And because of that, I was at war with other people. And so when we look at the play Lysistrata, they're saying, like, look at this. We're fighting. Like, all we're doing is fighting with each other. We're wasting resources. We're not getting anywhere. Like, this is a problem. And then as a result of that, we have this, we have this massive, massive void. And I think each one of us has this space within us, this void, this gap, this like painful place where we're separated from ourselves. And I do believe that by telling our stories, right, we can each be peace for ourselves. We can be that reconciliation. And so That's the story of War and Peace. And I think that in the end, I always thought Peace was dumb. I thought she was like a slut. I thought she was just some sex object, right? I thought she was just like the thing that the men got horny around. But that wasn't true. Peace is everything. Peace is like beauty. Peace is power. Peace is love. Peace is reconciliation. Peace is, everything we're looking for. And peace just so happened to be a naked lady. And, I thought, wow, that's the thing that like scares me the most. And I met her 19 years ago, and now she's back. So that's one of the reasons why this podcast and project is so important to me, is because I know that we can be at war and we can fight and we can be angry and we can push away and we can hate and we can do all these things, or we can love. We can love ourselves. And Women Are Rising is here to teach you how to love yourself, here to teach you how to love your story, to embody your story. It's about that. It's about being who you are fully and being like, damn straight, I'm attractive. Yes. Like I love my body. I love how, I love myself, all of myself. And you know what? I'm able to enjoy that. Like I want to enjoy who I am. I don't want to be like mad at myself because it's something that makes people uncomfortable, makes me uncomfortable. No, we want to be at peace. We want to be home. And your body is your home, and your soul lives in that body. And that's peace. That's reconciliation. That ends the war. So tell your story. Listen to peace. Let peace lead the way for you. Let peace be whatever that is. And know that, for me, I am still peace. I'm still her. And that scared me more than anything, that I could be that powerful, that I could be that beautiful. But it's not just about the body. It's about the energy. It's about the soul. It's about the power that comes with owning your truth. So if you want to find peace, that's how you do it, right? That's how you become peaceful again. That's how you become peace, by feeling and accepting and loving your piece of the piece, right? Your piece of the puzzle, your story. Here we are again. What's your war story? What did you overcome? What did you find? What did you lose that you found? I found peace. I missed peace, and I hope you find peace, or whatever that is you're looking for. And you can find it, and you will find it. And Women Are Rising is here to help you find it. And that is our mission. That is our goal. That is why we are talking. That is why we have the conversation. We continue the conversation. We tell the stories. We listen. We love. We laugh. We cherish. We witness. We hold each other accountable. We hold each other up to the light, and we say, my gosh, you are stunning. And that, my friend, is who you are. That's who I am. That's who we are. So enjoy that. Let yourself experience peace, and let me know how that feels, because it will change your life. It changed my life. It will change all our lives. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening and joining us for Women Are Rising with Katie Kozlowski. If you love the conversation and you want to join us for more, come check us out at womenarerising.org and jump on our mailing list, grab yourself a free meditation, and join the Women Are Rising family. We can't wait to hear your war story at womenarerising.org.